Well, it's a reality dating show, so everybody's like subscribing to the romance and the cinematic relationships that are blooming, which looks like that's the case with Lily. But like on a real life level, Claire and I just get along a lot better.
Season 3 Farmer Wants a Wife John Sansone chose to take Claire home to back to his farm on Thursday's season finale. And Claire wasn't the obvious answer. In fact, a few days before, John had fans list who they thought each farmer would end up with, and an overwhelming amount of people thought it would be Lily.
Claire and I got along on a much more surface level way. Her and I made each other laugh a lot. I feel like we agree on a lot of the same stuff and just generally had a good time together.
Coming up in a minute, I have the couple's first round of interviews since the show aired. I had the chance to talk to them ahead of the finale Thursday. Followers of our YouTube channel have always loved when we run an interview in full, barely any cuts. I hear ya, and that's how I'm gonna run this one coming up in just a little bit. But first, let's take it back to October when I flew to Texas during the group's last mixer. Here's what John was looking for at the time in a wife.
Somebody who's kind but also can lay down the law, so to speak. It's also important that that person aligns with me when it comes to values and morals, because those are the things that I want my children to have instilled on them growing up. I also think it's very important that her and I agree on a lot of stuff like that, because disagreements on important things like values and morals can twist a child's mind, and I don't want that. So luckily, I've had 5 phenomenal women who do align with me on a lot of that stuff. So it has been very tough, honestly.
What would you say are 2 things that you look for personality-wise in someone and that you've found so far on this show?
Personality-wise, I definitely look for somebody who's different than me in terms of personality, their interests, what they like, what they don't like. I've been with myself for 25 years. I don't need an exact clone. I want somebody, it's more exciting if you're with somebody, I think, that has different interests and stuff, kind of expose you to new things and let you expose them to new things.
More or less, John did find that. Claire is very different, but at the same time, they have similar humor and demeanor. I do think what's interesting to note is originally he was looking for someone with similar values. Claire had mentioned religion not being something that's prevalent in her life, something her mother also touched on. However, John realized that being brought up in a different way might be more of interest than he went in thinking it would be. Hit that thumbs up button if you just love John and Claire, and go on and comment below your thoughts on the season 3 finale. They've been together since October and actually have watched the show together, which I don't personally think I could do that if I was in their position.
Watching the show back has been interesting. Going through a lot of humps and stuff. I know Matt can probably speak for the same thing. But yeah, we're watching it back and, there's a lot of editing that's going on. So it's just like, did you really say that? It's like, I don't know. I don't really remember, but.
Although they have been together for a few months now, they've had to keep their love under wraps, which isn't always easy.
I've been recognized when for instance, we went to dinner one time and when we were leaving, she went out with someone else to wait for the Uber. And I was handling the check. And then on the way out, somebody was like, "You Farmer John?" I was like, yeah. Thank God Claire just walked out, because my God. The only weird thing, I guess, is we have to be a little careful about where we go. I think the biggest thing is trying to avoid airports, being at airports together, because that's usually where we get noticed the most. But other than that, it's know her friends well and all that stuff, and so, pretty normal.
For John, here's what life has looked like since filming.
Just finished up exams, so that was hell. And then, we watch the episodes with my family every night, so that's fun. And then, other than that, I've just been traveling so much, so it's hard to kind of get home and stay comfortable.
Now, let's get to the lovebirds. Here's my interview with John and Claire in full. I'm Adison Haager for Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing. Y'all, is this your first time to talk together side by side to press?
Yeah, very true.
You have the privilege.
I'm honored, and this will not be scary, and I will not lead you down a wrong hole.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kicking things off, where are we at? Are we what does post show look like? Do we live together? Do we share same bank accounts? Tell me all the things.
No, I'm a Catholic guy, and I'm sure Claire understands that too. That stuff takes a lot of time. We got to know each other throughout a month, so there's still a lot of time to see where this goes and enjoy each other's company. And, you know, that stuff is for long down the line. We'll hold off for now.
Are y'all, so Claire, you're in Chicago, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So what has time looked like for y'all? Like, are you trying to see each other once a month? I guess probably more than
Well, we've tried to stay on like some sort of a schedule. We thought it was gonna be a lot harder, I think, but it's really only like a 4.5 hour drive for us. So
that.
I think really just the hard part has been not being able to be in public, especially in Chicago. It's kind of a big small town. I think you've said the same thing about St. Louis. So
Very much so. But
yeah.
the production has been great in helping us procure trips and stuff. Sorry, there's a train going by.
Yeah, we are in Chicago currently. So
Nice. Hey, I love the ambiance.
yeah.
What
But we've had some cool trips, like Tulum was probably the highlight. We got to go to Tulum, which was awesome.
something that Sydney and Mitchell from season three, or sorry, y'all are season three, season two told me is that Mitchell said that there was this spot in his house where he would kind of go to a corner, and anytime Sydney was there, or like Sydney saw him, they would go and that'd be like their kissing corner, somewhere where cameras could not see. Did y'all have any sneak out? Like, tell me any stories of that. John's like, no, we didn't.
No, we were rule followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
We,
was that was actually kind of a weird part of the show because we were kept apart like the entire time and we had no one-on-one time alone. And then after the filming the finale, we were just kind of like released to each other. And so I think that was like weird. I wish we had something like Sydney and Mitchell had, but
would have been interesting for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, walk me through when you said like, okay, filming stops, and then it's like, all right, now what? Like, what did y'all do?
We just hung out, just no cameras, talked about the show, talked about the choices, talked about everybody that's come and gone, and basically just had a good time just chatting without any pressure from the cameras.
hmm Yeah, I think that's kind of why we've done as well as we have because right after filming the show, we were kind of like, let's just see where things go. Like, let's not put pressure on ourselves. We already had all that pressure, so let's like try to get to know each other off camera too.
Yeah.
What would y'all say is each other's quirk, or just something goofy, or a talent that someone might have that you didn't know while filming?
I don't know. When Claire's bothered by something, she'll like talk with her hand like this.
Oh, so I'm not always bothered. I just like
She's doing
just like do that.
I
I'm
guess
like, wait, Claire, you bothered by me?
No, no.
I meet quite
Thanks for
often.
that. That's um, I don't know with you. I feel like I had to like get used to your like intensity. Like sometimes you seem like you're yelling, but you're like 80% joking when you do that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
No, I do. It has been something she had to get used to.
Yeah. So I'm like, why are
Honestly,
you yelling at me? It's like I'm literally not.
just passionate, Claire. I'm just passionate. Obviously, dating two women at once is not normal. Um, John, for you, kind of what was the turning point in just realizing, okay, Claire is the one? Like, where was kind of that moment of like, yeah, this is it?
It got down pretty close towards the end, but there were, once it was just Claire and Lily, we got to spend a lot of time together off camera, just kind of hanging out. But they were careful not to allow us to talk about anything that would have probably furthered a relationship that would have been good to see on camera. So it was a lot of just very casual hanging out type of stuff, and I felt myself getting along with Claire very well in those situations.
Hmm.
It started to really build I guess felt like a friendship kind of, and I think that's a good starting point for any relationship.
Yeah, Claire, I mean, going on a dating show, I mean, truly both of y'all, but you are competing with multiple women. Do you kind of have to get, like, what was your mindset going in of a little bit, it is a competition. Like, it is, like, you were fighting for one person at the end. So did you kind of go into, like, it does have to be a little bit like a competition?
Yeah. I mean, it really didn't feel like that, honestly. I think I was so anxious in the beginning that I was just doing my best to like be myself and stay alive while on camera. So it never really felt like a competition. I also like really loved the girls, so I was rooting for them too.
So when you're saying you're just trying to stay alive, was there like anything about filming? And I mean, I feel like we didn't see you till the very end, and I'm like, there she is.
I
And
didn't say anything. That's fine.
is she part of the farm? I couldn't tell you. And yeah, walk me through kind of, was there a moment where you're like, I like filming, this is not for me.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. So I think I was so used to my life in Chicago with all of my friends. I live with five girls, and two of us have been friends for 20 years, and I'm just not used to not being with them. And then I was thrown into an environment with like all these super confident, outgoing girls, and I was just kind of like so overwhelmed. And you try to be yourself, but in those moments you're like, I don't even know who I am right now. Like I'm just so nervous. So it took a long time for me to loosen up and start acting like myself, which is when we got along a lot better. So
I love
yeah.
this. Oh, sorry, I did not mean to interrupt
Oh
you.
no, you're gonna go ahead.
I love this scene. I don't know at what point it was where it's like the other girls were in the chicken coop and y'all are interacting where it's almost like, I mean, like in the best way, it looks like your guys are in first grade again, where it's like, how do we banter? How do we interact? Like, how does this work?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
tough because they'd be like, hey, you guys should probably have a talk. And we're like, we agree. So we go over and we're just standing there and there's 12 people around us just and we're just like, how's it going? And we just kind of like got along through that type of stuff, just making kind of making a
Yeah.
joke out of it.
Mhm.
What's next for y'all? I know, John, when you were in our studio, we talked a little bit of like what career looks like for you next. But yeah, Claire, for you, what does life look like right now, even outside of y'all's relationship?
Outside, well, yeah, I have my life in Chicago and I am really happy here. I really like it. And John has his life too, and he's in law school right now. So I think we're just going on the way we have been, and we're just excited to be able to be in public together for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you, I mean, did you guys have any like awkward run-ins or anything like that? Right.
There were, I think there were times when we were like cutting it pretty close, and somebody would walk by, or you'd see somebody
Mhm.
just kind of like staring a little too long, and we just kind of like have this unspoken thing where Claire would
I
go that way,
disappear.
I'd go this way, and then
Yeah.
it's just we'd be like, oh well, okay, I guess we're single again, and then it would end up working out.
Last question for y'all. Where somewhere after this show airs, you're like, I am just so excited to be able to go to fill in the blank or do fill in the blank.
No, no.
Claire, where are we headed?
There's so many good restaurants in Chicago that I haven't been able to bring him to. So probably just something around here.